Was I the inspiration for this character? Because it sounds like it. Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. If you are new, hello, my name is Kristen. And if you are not new and you're back for another video, then thank you for coming back. Today's video, we are going to talk about the books that I read in January. I read 9 books in January and we're going to talk about them all. My hair is kind of wild today. I don't know what is going on with it, but it's got a mind of its own. So we're just going to kind of ignore it. I read, where's my book bullet journal? I read 2 audiobooks, 3 digital books, and 4 physical books this month. So let's go ahead and get started. The first book I read this month was on my new Kindle that I got for Christmas. I had to test it out, so I started reading Marriage for One by Ella Mays. I really loved this. It's a really popular Kindle Unlimited book. If you do not have Kindle Unlimited and you love reading, it's definitely worth it. It's like $10 a month. You can run up to 10 books at a time, and I absolutely love it. It has been definitely worth it for me. For some of those books that I'm interested in, but not quite interested enough to like bite the bullet and buy a physical copy. Marriage for One is about Rose and Jack. Yes, like the Titanic, Rose and Jack. And Rose and Jack end up in a little fake marriage situation. I love a fake marriage trope. It's one of my favorites. So it is set in New York City. Rose ends up owning a coffee shop in like downtown New York, and it's just like all the cozy vibes. It's dual POV, a small age gap, but nothing crazy. It's very slow burn. Like I said, fake marriage. Oh, I loved it. It was so good. Their relationship is, it made my heart so happy. Jack is, Jack. Jack is fantastic. Absolutely loved him. And Rose was great as well. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 5 stars. It was very, Jack is very, I hate in everyone but you. Like on the synopsis, it says, we were Rose and Jack. We were doomed from the beginning, with names like those. Are you kidding? This book was so good. 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. Definitely check it out. The next book I read was actually an audiobook that I started in December called Snowflakes Mistletoe at the Nook Inn by Helen J. Roth, I think is how you pronounce her last name. Trigger warning for this one is there's talks of addiction and alcoholism, so make sure to be aware of that. It was about Darcy and Miles. I feel like every guy in every book is named Miles, and I don't understand it. Why? Why do you all need to be named Miles? These kind of Miles ruin my Miles from Ugly Love. That's what happens. Miles is like an English businessman. He has moved to New York for work. Darcy runs the Nook Inn, and they're very opposites. She like loves Christmas, and it's very grumpy sunshine. He hates Christmas. This is based obviously in Christmas at this little inn in New York. I think it's in New York. But turns out that they've met before, and it kind of goes through how they met and why he doesn't exactly like Darcy that much. I don't know if it was just the audiobook. I feel like I always say that when I don't like an audiobook, I don't know if it's just the audiobook or if it was the book itself, because sometimes I don't know if it's the words they're saying or the actual voice actors themselves that I'm not like vibing with. So I gave this one 3.5 stars. Sorry, I was interrupted by Paige going live on her members only channel on YouTube. So if you haven't joined that, then make sure to check out all of her options so that you can hang out with us in chat. But back to Snowflakes and Mistletoe at the Nook Inn. I was just kind of underwhelmed with the whole thing. The conflict between the two was kind of stupid in my opinion. I was not a fan of the conflict. I was just kind of bored. I was bored. It kind of seemed like, I don't want to say it seemed like something that older people would read, but it kind of seemed like something older people would read. It wasn't very intriguing. Like, a lot of the books that I read have like really cool storylines, and this one just wasn't it. So I gave it 3.5 stars. It was okay. I read it on like my local library has an app that you can like listen to free audiobooks and ebooks, so that's how I read it, and it just caught my eye because it was Christmassy and I wanted to read some Christmas books, so it was okay. The next book I read was The Guest List. This is Paige's fault. Paige bought this and then she was like, you need to buy this and read this with me, so I bought this and I read this with her. It is a Reese's Book Club book. It is like a murder mystery kind of thing. There are 5 different POVs, well technically 6. There's 5 main POVs in this book. It is the bride, the +1, the best man, the wedding planner, and the bridesmaid. So it says, an exclusive wedding on a remote Irish island. All have a secret, all have a motive, but only one is a murderer. So you have to kind of figure out, it jumps timelines between before the wedding, like the day before the wedding when they all arrive on the island, and then like after something crazy happens at the wedding. You're still kind of trying to figure out like what exactly is going on. Obviously someone gets murdered. You have to kind of figure out who is murdered and who the murderer is. This was good. I feel like it got really slow in the middle, so it kind of lost my attention. If it would have either been 100 pages less and just been a novella, or would have had more night of instead of flashback, I think I would have liked it more. It all makes sense once you do read it, but sometimes you're just, there's things happening and they do all make sense at the end. But I'd kind of just lost interest about halfway through. And then like the last 80 pages like had me pretty hooked again. So, I mean, if you like this kind of book, I think it's really good. You'll enjoy it. I gave it 3.25 stars. I almost DNF'd because I was so bored. I was so ready to just get to something else. But it was good. It was just, I was so bored. I was so bored in the middle of this freaking book. I don't know what else to say other than I was bored. So, The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I feel like a lot of younger people would like that, but then also not. There's also trigger warnings. Look up some trigger warnings because there are trigger warnings that need to be known in this. So, The Guest List got 3.25 stars from me. The next book that I read was Rebel Air by V. Keeland and Penelope Ward. This was an audiobook that I started in December. I started listening to it on the way home from Florida and ended up having like maybe 45 minutes left in it, and I just never finished it because my husband was like, hey, don't finish that book without me. I love listening to audiobooks while I drive, but we just like weren't in the car a whole lot together, like without our children in the car, in the rest of December, so we had to finish it early January. This is about Rush and Gia. Rush is tatted and he's a bar owner. He is a businessman. Gia works at Rush's bar and sparks fly between them, and then something major happens in Gia's life that kind of throws a wrench in things. I don't want to give too much away because like the plot twist is kind of crazy. You kind of see it coming, but anyway, so there's a huge cliffhanger at the end of this book because there's another book called Rebel Heart, I believe. Rebel Heart. So I'm excited to read that. I give this 4.5 stars. This spice was pretty good. I can't wait to pick up the next book and continue their story, figure out where this cliffhanger is going, because it's a wild one. The next book I read was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by She Who Shall Not Be Named. This was my first time picking up a Harry Potter book. I got through it really fast. I know it's not a very long book, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. It is like middle grade, so it was really easy to read. It was really easy to understand what was happening. It is definitely very much like the movie, in my opinion. But I don't know if I just enjoyed it and was able to understand it really well because I've watched the movie, which I'm not like an avid Harry Potter person. I've not like watched the movies a ton of times. I've seen Sorcerer's Stone maybe 3 times, and most of them were at least 3 to 4 years ago. I saw it like once when it came out, and then like a couple times since then. But I understood everything that was going on. It was really easy for me to follow. I really enjoyed it. I'm super excited to read the rest of this series. I talked briefly about my stance with Harry Potter and her in my February TBR. I talked briefly about it. So I'm excited to read the rest of the Harry Potter books. Like I said, this got 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Was highly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. If you know what Harry Potter's about, do I really need to give you a synopsis on this book? Do I need to? If you need a synopsis on Harry Potter books, make sure to put it in the comments, and I'll give you a synopsis on the next one. But Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone, it was really good. Next thing I read was The Goal by Elle Kennedy. This was the 4th book in the Off-Campus series. And this one's about Sabrina and Tucker. So, if you've read Off Campus, then you know what's going on in Sabrina and Tucker's life, which is they're having a baby. It's not a spoiler, it's right here on the back. Yep, it's right here on the back. So, Sabrina and John Tucker. Sabrina is a smart, like, badass bitch. Is what she is. She's a smart, badass bitch. And she is planning on going to law school, and then she finds out that she's pregnant, and John Tucker is her baby daddy. John Tucker is one of the 4 off-campus boys. Obviously, if you've read any of these, you've already met John Tucker, and he is just swoon-worthy, man. He is so sweet and so patient with her, and really wants to know like what she needs from him. And it's really sweet to see a guy that is like, screw what I need, what do you need from me? So this is their story. I really loved this. It's still not Garrett and Hannah. I don't think anything will ever be Garrett and Hannah for me. This is honestly probably my least favorite off-campus book of the main 4, and it was still fantastic. It's just Garrett and Hannah are forever in my heart, and then I do like Dean and Allie, and then Grace and Logan, and then Tucker and Sabrina. But I did really enjoy this. It's a little bit different to read about people having kids when you've had a kid. It just hits a little different, which I'll talk about that a lot more in the next book that I talk about. But The Goal, 5 stars. Elle Kennedy absolutely kills it. Absolutely loved. I'm so sad that this series is over. But I have the Briar U books, so I'm excited to read the Briar U books and hope I get a little sprinkle of these guys in them. But yep, The Goal was fantastic. If you've not read the off-campus books, read the off-campus books because I loved them. Y'all, the next book I read was Change on the Fly by Maren Moore. This book, I read it on Kindle Unlimited, and I absolutely loved it. It got 5 stars from me. Whoop-de-doo, who would have imagined? My rating system is very, if I loved the book and wouldn't have changed anything about the book, it gets 5 stars. 4 stars is like I really enjoyed it, but there was a couple things I didn't like too much. 3 stars is like, meh, it was fine. It was okay. I wasn't crazy about it. And then 2 star was like, I almost DNF'd this, and it was just really, really, really big struggle to get through. Like, I really didn't enjoy it at all. 1 star is like, this is awful. I'm DNFing this. I hate it. Do not, just don't even pick up this book. That's kind of my star rating. So I do have a lot of 5 stars, but then I have like ratings within my 5 stars. So this was like pretty up there with my 5 stars. Change on the Fly is the first totally pucked book by Mary Moore. The second one is Sincerely the Puck Bunny, and I'm actually currently reading that one. Change on the Fly is about Reed and Holland. Reed is one of the star players of the Avalanche hockey team, and we love a hockey romance. I don't know anything about hockey, but I love a hockey romance. Reed finds out that he needs to take in his nephew, who he's never met, which is crazy, and there's a whole lot of backstory there that you'll learn about in the book, but Reed takes him in and takes custody of him, which, I mean, already, that shows how big of a heart Reed has. He also is going to need somebody to help take care of Evan, his nephew, while he's on the road. Enters a Holland. Holland is Reed's sister's best friend. Yep, best friend's brother. Yep, that's what this is. So Holland is this kind of bookworm. She works at a library. She like binge watches Vampire Diaries and One Tree Hill when she's like upset or anxious, which like, hello, am I Holland? Was I the inspiration for this character? Because it sounds like it. So this is Holland and Reed's story, and Holland's like been in love with Reed since they were like 8, and she's a couple years younger than him, so there's a slight age gap, just a little one. It's very insta-lovey kind of, but not really. It's a very happy book, I would say. There's a small conflict, but it's not too crazy, so it's like a feel-good book. Watching Reed be a parent, or reading. I watched it in my brain. Watching Reed, reading Reed, that sounds weird. Watching Reed become a dad was like the sweetest thing ever. And like I said, when I was talking about the goal, parents in books and having kids in books and watching people navigate parenthood is really cool for me to read because I am a parent. I know a lot of people don't like kids in books or pregnancy tropes, and I don't mind it at all. One of my favorite quotes from this book was actually something Reed said. It said, "Being a parent means you and you alone are responsible for whether or not your kid becomes a decent human being. And if that isn't the most overwhelming pressure in the fucking world, I don't know what is." And true. That's the most true statement I've read in a book in a very long time. Being a parent's hard. I gave this 5 stars, like I said, all the good feels. I'm not 100% loving Sincerely the Puck Bunny as much so far. It's still really good, but it's not as good as Change on the Fly in my opinion so far. So we'll see in my February wrap up how that one ends up. Then I read this book called Guarded. It was a novella that I was sent that is like a prequel to a novel I was sent called Guardian Angel by Alexis Madison. This is about Megan, who Guardian Angel is. She's the main girl in Guardian Angel. So this is like her story as to how she got to where she is in Guardian Angel. I haven't read Guardian Angel yet. It's about Megan's a cop for the LAPD and her partner's name is Quentin. I'm not sure how I felt about this one, to be 100% honest with you. I think some of the way things were worded I don't want to say it was ignorant, but it wasn't my favorite wording. There was police violence that's just kind of skimmed over and was not appreciative of that at all. Megan just kind of like, her and Quentin end up like messing around and then end up dating, and then the end is like super freaking crazy as to what happens, and I didn't like it. It was kind of all over the place as far as the story. I felt like it was just kind of thrown together. Like I said, the ending was wild. It was almost like, I don't know how to describe this book, because there was points where I liked the book. There was just some wording that I didn't like. Like I said, the ending was crazy and like really random. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna pick up Guardian Angel yet. I'm still debating on it. Guardian Angel sounds like it'd be really good. It's about like the cop, and then she's falling for the guy that she is investigating for murder. So I'm hoping that it would be better, but like I said, I don't know if it was just that like this novella was thrown together or what. We'll see if I read it. I probably won't at this point. I'm not really sure. The next one was supposed to be a billionaire romance too, and I love a billionaire romance. So, oh well. There's 100 other billionaire romances that I can read. I think it's like free on her website. I don't even think, like, it's not even on Goodreads. So I'm not sure. I wanted to like go read the Goodreads comments on the book to see if people are feeling the same way as me, and it's not even on there. The last book I read in January was Legacy. This is the actual final book of the Off-Campus series, and this is like, she came out with this in 2021. I think the Off-Campus series finished in 2016, 2017. So this is like basically 4 short novellas of each of the couples from Off-Campus. It's 4 parts, 4 like basically small novellas, and this takes place 3 years after they graduate. So kind of like when the epilogue was taking place, a little after all the epilogues in the books were taking place. It says, a wedding, a proposal, an elopement, and a surprise pregnancy. Can you guess which couple is which? So which couple did each of those things? And you get to find out in all of the parts. I was very excited for this because I loved all the Off-Campus books, and I was, to be honest, slightly disappointed in it. And I feel like a lot of people felt that way. It felt very rushed. Like not a lot of thought was put into it. Part 3 was just weird, to be honest. I hated part 3. If it wasn't for part 3, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. I feel like there was a lot of Tucker and Sabrina, and I don't know if that's just because like I had literally just finished the goal and then picked this right up, and I went from Tucker and Sabrina's story to more Tucker and Sabrina in here. I felt like it was a lot of Tucker and Sabrina. Even within like everyone else's parts. And it's not that I don't love Tucker and Sabrina, I just wanted a lot of Hannah and Garrett, and I didn't get a whole lot of Hannah and Garrett. I got like their part, but they weren't like, I don't know, I was kind of disappointed. I just wanted like a lot of Hannah and Garrett, and I wanted like a bunch of happily ever after, and I did get a bunch of happily ever after, but then like the last part was kind of a cliffhanger. It's like, how you gonna end a book like that? Like, excuse me? And then tell me I'm never gonna hear from these characters again, and then that's how you end this book? Really? So, it got 4 stars. I wanted it to be more. I wanted it to be more. I wanted just a lot of happily ever after, no conflict. Let's just figure out where they are in their lives and how happy they are, and just, I wanted to be all lovey-dovey, and that was not exactly what this was. So there's also one random thing that happened like throughout this book that was weird. It was weird. I don't know why that was thrown in there. I don't get it. So those were the books that I read in January. I don't know. It was a weird reading month. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a lot of really cool things planned for the rest of the month. I'm so excited to have you all here. There's so many of you now, and I'm so excited to have all of you to talk about books with and to share my life. And I have a lot of really cool things planned for the rest of the month and for next month. If you aren't already subscribed, and then subscribe down below, hit the little bell, all that fun stuff. Once I hit 1,000 subscribers and 1,000 followers on Instagram, I'm going to do a giveaway on both. So if you aren't following me on Instagram, make sure to go follow me on Instagram. It's just kbugs724, and I'll do a giveaway on Instagram and a separate giveaway on YouTube here. Thank you all for watching this video. Thank you for joining me. Comment below any other videos you'd like for me to film. Anything you'd like to see me do, lifestyle, DIYs, because I have a pretty big, not DIY, but kind of DIY project in our bedroom that is going to be happening within the next month or so. So comment below anything that you'd like to see, vlogs, shop with me's, anything like that. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!